is live at local morning radio, coming to you from the studios of Magic Broadcasting on Laird. This is the Kramer Show. This is the Kramer Show. The phone is now open, and the phone operators are standing by. Turn down your radio when you call. Pay attention and be ready to go. 850-233-9988.
I said, if you're having the best time of your life right now, let me get it. Yes, sir.
This is Kramer.
7:05, good morning. Hello. Yes, it is Kramer. Look at your beautiful sunshiny faces this morning. But Kramer, it's raining outside and it looks like the wind's blowing. It looks bad. I know, but you don't look bad. Look at you. You're looking delicious this morning. I want you to get up and face this day with a big old smile, throw the shoulders back, head up, go proud, go big. Scott Major's with us. We got Brian Parúas from Major Parúas and the Storm Help Team. Gentlemen, and good morning.
Hello? Is this thing on? Scott, you woke up this morning. I'm so proud of you.
Look at that.
Huh? Normally I got to make him a waffle, and he walks out in his tennis racket sandals. Yeah, it's very humorous. You got to see those. Do you still have those, Scott?
I do, man.
Oh man,
Scott hasn't even been to sleep. What are you talking about?
Guy's an animal. He doesn't sleep ever.
Well, with as much as you guys have going on, I'm sure that you probably do have very long days and short nights. I don't even know where to start today. Where do you guys want to start?
Let's start with that jazz bar you want to open. Scott loves modern jazz.
Modern jazz is my favorite, Scott. I didn't know that about you.
I love that music, man. I used to be a concert promoter.
Oh, really? For smooth jazz entertainers?
Exactly. Just like those Panama Jazz Festival people. All those guys. Rippingtons.
He knows them all. They're like his boys.
Smith, all those guys.
Did you ever know Chris Botti?
Botte. I did not.
Trumpet player. Okay, well, we can talk about jazz. I'm down with that. But, I want to bring something up, and you guys give me your thoughts on this. And I'm just going to give you the cliff notes of the video that I saw, okay? This woman was interviewed by News 13 about how she's been dealing with construction companies since the day after the storm. She said she's dealt with 3. She still has not got her house. They showed a picture of the house. She's living in a camper outside the home, and she's dealt with 3 of them. One of them falsified her signature on a piece of paper on a contract that was an AOB that gave them the right to deal with her insurance. And then the news went and talked to a member from the company. This is really interesting. I'm going to send you both the link so you can see it. Are there, I would assume, there's that many people out there that are having problems with the construction companies, and it seems like they're just as bad as the insurance companies.
Yikes.
Yes, there are situations where vendors swoop in after the storm, and it is a tragedy what goes on because a lot of them are from out of the city or out of the county or out of state. And, they're not all that scrupulous. And they come in and they make promises to you. I mean, the type of things like falsifying documents, that's a criminal act. And hopefully the police will arrest that vendor and prosecute them. But as a general rule, what happens is a lot of these vendors come in, they're understaffed. Let's say they have 1 crew, and they go and sign up 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 claims, and they don't have the ability to service them. The insureds are desperate, and they're trying to get their roof fixed, or they're trying to find somebody to help them, and they can't, and so they feel compelled to go with these vendors, and then they end up in a bad situation. As you and I spoke about, a lot of times the worst mistakes that the insureds make is the contracts they sign. And, understanding that you need to pay attention to what you sign, not when people fraudulently sign for you, but what you sign is really important because you're giving away rights oftentimes in these cases to people you don't know. And so, yes, there is a big problem. It happens after storms. And people just have to be aware of who they are retaining and make sure that they have insurance, that they have a reputation, that they have recommendation, either letters or references that you can call to make sure that they're valid, that they don't have complaints against their license, that you've checked with them, the Better Business Bureau. And it's a tragedy. Like I said, sometimes people have another nightmare after the storm because they get these vendors or people that are less than honorable.
Is it, if you're having a problem, she said that another problem, an issue that she's having is she'll talk to them and they go, yeah, they're really nice. And they go, yeah, we understand. And we're going to be sending someone over there. And nobody ever comes. And then she calls back in a couple of days and says, hey, I talked to you the other day. You said somebody was going to be coming over, and nobody ever came over. And then they gave an excuse, and it just goes on and on and on. She said for months and months and months it's been going on. Now, as an addendum to that, of course, people that do construction, these vendors, they're busy. I mean, they're absolutely just inundated, and I totally understand that. But if somebody keeps putting it off, do they need to get Scott Major and Brian Parúas involved? If so, at what time period? I mean, people are frustrated.
Yeah, understandably. I think that your contracts should have, provisions in them that don't allow people to delay. But if you've already signed the contract, you write a couple of letters to your vendor. You tell them that, you've called them 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 times, and that you're asking them to come out to the property, and if they fail to come out by X date, you're terminating them, for failure to perform. Love and kisses you. And if you do that, then at least you give yourself a basis to terminate the contract based on non-performance. And if you do that, that will give you more weaponry than just sitting and waiting there and being imprisoned by yet another vendor who's not doing their job. And then you go and find a vendor that's valid.
That's a good point. And the other thing, Kramer, your listeners can do, which costs them no money, if they don't trust lawyers, they don't want to talk to a lawyer, is to go online. You can Google DBPR or myfloridalicense.com. You can go online, check the license of the vendor, make sure that these contractors are licensed in Florida, and if they're not, you can even file a complaint with them. It costs $0. I repeat, it costs $0 to do this. And you can
How much does it cost?
0. Can you believe it? And I have a coupon for it, too.
How many?
0.
0.
You go online, you can file the complaint, and you can verify licenses for nothing. myfloridalicense.com. It's the state of Florida. Are your tax dollars at work?
I think it's...
Does it cost?
How much?
What? It costs 0. And I have 50% off of that if you want. I can get you a coupon today.
Free 99.
Free 99 for a limited time.
Can you get the coupon online, or do you have to call? 844-800-LAWS?
You can call Scott directly. I'll give you a cell phone number.
Okay, I got that too. Call 844-800-LAWS and ask them about the coupon for half off the $0.
Yeah, at the end of the day, remember, guys, you pay for these services that are out there, and always try to go to the state first to see if they can help before hiring a lawyer, or if you're confused about this, you can call us and we can explain it to you. But this costs nothing, and you can verify that your vendors are actually licensed to do work in Florida.
I just got a text from Julie, and she wants to know where you've been the past 12 hours.
Well, listen, I waited up for her last night until about 9, and then I crashed out. I couldn't wait any longer. Hopefully this weekend I'll have some energy for her. I'm going to try.
Look, going back to what Scott said, I mean, a lot of people probably don't know that that you can put a timeline on there. And look, if they don't want the business, then they don't have to honor the contract, and then you can move on about your life. But at this point, you got people that have been sitting around for 8 months that, they've been getting... This woman's story is really compelling. I'm sending this to you guys. I want you to watch it. And it's not that long. It's like, a minute and a half newscast. And so I just wanted to bring that up in case people are having... problems with contractors and construction businesses and stuff like that. On the other side of this, the insurance companies, and there are plenty of news stories. There was one the other day, and we talked about this at length yesterday about insurance companies that are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And there is one in particular who's being sued.
Commercial property.
Yeah. Are there others out there that are on the radar that people should be looking out?
The answer is there are, but rather than name each of them, the most important thing for the listener to understand is if your insurance company is not paying you and they're not providing a written explanation as to why it is they are not paying you, then you need to get a lawyer involved. You need to create a motivator. You need to leverage the insurance company so that they either provide you with a suitable explanation that explains what the reason is they're not paying, or you need to put their feet to the fire, by either filing a complaint with the state under Chapter 624.155, or alternatively filing a lawsuit so that we can create a right to attorney's fees that lets them know that they have a price to pay if they're going to delay any further.
Really important. By the way, their phone number, 844-800-LAWS, 844-800-LAWS, and stormhelpteam.org. The website, stormhelpteam.org. One of the other things I want to mention, and it's been a while since we've actually, talked about this at length, is that if people want Scott Major to come to, and it's not just residential. I want to make sure that everybody understands that. Commercial too is also covered under the Major Parúas and the Storm Help Team under that.
Business, condos associations, governments, co-ops, homes, mobile homes, you name it.
Anything and everything. And he'll come and speak. And also they you've said many times that if somebody has a $500 claim, you'll take it.
That's right. Don't be slow to make the call if you think your claim is not worth enough. There is no such thing as a too low a claim if it's covered. The key is to understand whether or not the insurance policy you bought actually covers your claim. And if it does, then you're entitled to recover whether it's $100 or it's $1 million. And I can't emphasize enough to everyone out there. Make sure you make a claim. Make sure you get a lawyer involved. And if you have neighbors, if you have condo associations, if you have groups of people that we can get together, it is critically important to group together and use your neighbors' successes to aid and help you. It's very important because the insurance companies will respond when you have the argument that your neighbor 50 feet away or 10 feet away got his or her roof claim paid and yours still hasn't been paid.
Can I ask you both a question? Can you name me a couple of things reasons why insurance companies have denied people? I can't wait for the answer because I'm sure there's some mind-blowing instances.
Sure. The failure to provide donuts to the adjuster is the number one claim. No, seriously, what I would say the biggest ones that we see are wear and tear. Your property was old. The condition of the home was not, that great. Lack of maintenance, negligence is one of the most common. Another one that is very common is that you failed to properly take care of your home after the storm and you really caused all the damages. The third one is they say that your property is not covered, but they don't specify exactly what provision it is in the insurance policy, and it turns out that your property is, in fact, covered. Those are common ones that I see.
And I think to add on to that is typically these adjusters, they keep a working list of folks that they just do not want to work with or people that they're going to lowball every single time. So if your adjuster or your lawyer or the law firm has been red flagged in the system, you're probably never going to settle that claim without filing a lawsuit, period. They'll continue to deny or make you ridiculous offers just because they know that the law firm or public adjuster or whoever else is working your claim is a shady character. and they rather, hedge their bets and say, you know what, we'll take a chance on this one because these guys are a bunch of clowns. And that's a reality after talking to many adjusters, that they keep that running list and they add on to it.
Let's take a break. When I come back, we'll get more on that, on some of the denials from the insurance companies. 850-233-9988. Scott Major, Brian Parúas from Major Parúas and the Storm Help Team. Cliff, you sit tight. We'll do some phones as well when we get back. More to come.
Trying to suck less and less every day.
Ooh, you suck.
More of the Kramer Show coming up next on NewsTalk at 101. Bringing some fun back to talk radio.
I'm a Mog. Half man, half dog. I'm my own best friend.
This is the Kramer Show on NewsTalk at 101.
722. Scott Major, Brian Parúas, Major Parúas and the Storm Help Team. We got some phone lines. If you want to hop on the air and ask them questions, you may absolutely do that. 850-233-9988. Let's go to Cliff. Hey, morning, Cliff.
Hey, man. Listen, I've had the misfortune of getting a suckered in with an out-of-town contractor that I subsequently had to fire, and I'm actually in the process of suing him for some stuff he did. But anyway, now I'm having trouble getting my additional living expenses paid by my insurance company. I have displacement cost coverage, and they're telling me that it's not their responsibility. Of course, having to fire the guys slowed my whole process down. They're telling me now that they're not responsible for paying me my additional living expenses in the way of a rent, for me not being able to be in my house. And I'm just getting nothing but the runaround. I've spent about $25,000 of my own money. Just wondering if there's any validity to what they're telling me.
Okay, step one is to identify all of the additional living expenses you have, itemize them, which you've done, and send them to the insurance company. Step two is to determine how much ALE or coverage D that you have. Step three is to write the insurance company and say, I've been out of my home waiting for the contractors to complete the repairs. If you have a better contractor that you believe could complete these repairs sooner, please write me. Otherwise, you need to pay me my $25,000 or however much money you have. Love and kisses you. If they aren't going to pay you any money, then the next step is to pick up a phone, dial the 844-800-LAWS number, and let us go crush them, because you need to be paid your additional living expenses. And this nonsense of people not paying you when you're outside your home, uncomfortable, dying to get back in your home, is absurd. So it just depends on whether or not you have sufficient coverage. Having said that, you can't avoid trying to get your property fixed. So an insurance company can determine how reasonable it is for you to be out of your home for X period of time, and can limit the amount of additional living expenses they pay if they believe it is unnecessary or unreasonable for you to be outside your home, because it's your burden to demonstrate. So, but they can't pay you nothing. And so follow those steps, or if you want to dial the 844-800-LAWS number, we'll go ahead and send those letters for you. We'll document that. We'll file the complaints, and if necessary, file a lawsuit following.
Yeah, and they're going to be on the hook too for mileage. If you're displaced living somewhere else, it's a distance further than where you used to commute from. They got to pay you that mileage. Then again, they have to do a guesstimation at the end of the claim when they're determining the reconstruction of your home. How many months you're going to be out while they're rebuilding your house? You're going to be out 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, and then they got to pay you for that as well. And they got to look at comps, compare to, houses that are, equivalent to yours for you to live in. What's the rate? What are they going to charge? Because now, as you know, to live in Panama City or, the outlying areas is extremely expensive. So a house that was being rented for $2,000 is now going for, $4,000 or $5,000 a month. So all that's got to be, looked into.
Hey, this is a dumb question, but are there times where the insurance company will pay for a camper instead of paying for rent for $2,000 a month? I mean, is that something that they do? I don't know.
Yes, absolutely. They will pay for alternative housing, because oftentimes that alternative housing is much cheaper than the other housing that's out there and available. most important thing is to ask, and if you don't know, to consult a professional who can help you with those. For all of your listeners, if you want to know what is covered under Coverage D, what we often refer to as loss of use or additional living expenses, you can call the 844-800-LAWS number. And I've written a definitive article that has every imaginable thing, from storage fees to pet costs, every imaginable thing that is covered under Coverage D. And we will happily email you the article or fax it to you, scan it to you, Pony Express deliver it to you, whatever you want, so that you can learn more. And if the radio station wants it, we'll send it to you, and you can post it online.
Yeah,
absolutely free. We have that coupon as well for 50% off of the article.
Well, yeah, send that, and I'll put it up today. I mean, that would be fantastic information. There's no telling what you can learn from that.
Amazing how many it's covered.
I thought Cliff was still there. Yeah, so people. That's another thing is hiring an attorney that's not really up to par. You know, that's not the case with you guys, but I mean, I guess that's also something that people are having trouble with. See, this whole thing, and we've said this a million times. You don't realize how many branches of things that there are within the post-recovery process. You know, you got construction, you got all the branches of vendors and all of that stuff. Then you've got the insurance thing. Then you've got the mortgage companies. And then you've got public adjusters that are in the mix. And then you have attorneys, some of them that are kind of sitting on their hands. So there's a lot happening.
There is. And to navigate this, this nightmare of trying to get money back is very difficult. And that is why you and I, since week, 1 or 2 of this, post-storm disaster recovery, have said, get the smartest and best professional to help you to maximize the amount of money you get. Remember, a lot of times the insurance policy will cover things that you didn't even think were that common. A lot of times I keep telling people over and over again, most of your windows are damaged, whether they're caused by a specific break of the window or whether you have some weakness that's associated with the wind event that's causing either leakage, fogging, or 6 or 9 months from now or a year from now, you're going to see those leaks or you're going to see that fogging, you're going to see leaks elsewhere. And it's going to be very difficult to get an insurance company to pay when you have not checked those windows out at the time of the storm.
Scott Major, Brian Parúas, more to come with the fellas.
This is the Kramer Show on the Good Old Boy Network. NewsTalk at 101.
Rejoin. 7:33. It's the Kramer Show. Brian Parúas, Scott Major from Major Parúas and the Storm Help Team with us today. You can call and get on the air and you can ask them questions. 844-800-LAWS. 844-800-LAWS. We were talking about denials. I've heard some crazy stories about insurance companies that are denying people for various things. But isn't it one of the major things? And this too goes back on to the shoulders of the policyholder. Sometimes there are, and you say this occasionally, Scott, sometimes there are things that the homeowner needs to provide to the insurance company. And it may seem silly, but it is something that you need to provide, information to the insurance company so that they will open up and give you what you're supposed to have, right?
Sure. You have to have not only a detailed estimate, photographs that support or video that supports your particular damages. If you have contents, a list of those contents and what it costs to replace them, a list of all of the damages you have associated with additional living expenses or loss of use, every receipt, support for those items so that you can make sure you have proven to the insurance company that you have a valid claim. Oftentimes you have to have other things like something called a proof of loss, which is a one-page document that the insurance company will request of you that you need to provide to them that swears essentially under penalty of perjury that you actually have the damages that you have. It's common also to have a need to find out whether the insurance company is missing anything. You and I started this in week 1 or 2 where we said, make sure you write the insurance company and say, here's all the information. If there is anything you need, please write us in detail within the next 2 days and tell us what that is. Otherwise, you need to pay the estimate. Love and kisses you.
Yeah, so it's not. They do ask for silly things, right? I mean, they do ask for some things to either confuse you or just to prolong the process. Trying to figure out what the difference in those things are probably difficult for the average person.
Sometimes they'll ask you for things that are very difficult. We want 3 estimates. Where does it say that in the insurance policy that I need to give you 3 estimates? What I need to do is tell you what my damages are, and I've demonstrated my claim, and now it's your responsibility to tell me what is wrong with my claim of damages. Some people have a difficult time finding one vendor, much less 3. Having said that, it is possible and helpful sometimes to have more than one estimate if you have clear damages and you can find reputable vendors. But I will often instruct or tell the insureds that if you're not using me, write the insurance company and say, if you have a better vendor than the vendor we have attached to this particular estimate, then you let us know, and we're happy to consider that person to handle them. And you'd be surprised at how rare you'll get a response saying that they're going to provide you with an appropriate contractor or vendor, because they don't want that responsibility. That's why you put it on them and say, all I want is my house rebuilt, or my condo rebuilt, or my business rebuilt.
Now, if you go out and, or if you tell the insurance company, hey, if you got a better vendor and you got somebody else that can come over here and look at it, but isn't there an insurance company that not only is an insurance company, but they also, under their umbrella, have vendors, and so then they'll send them out there, and then they kind of try to lowball you. I remember, I don't know if, Scott, if that was you that was saying that, but I've heard that somewhere.
Yes, there are certain insurance companies, a few of them, that have language in their clause, in their insurance policies, or have preferred vendors, and those vendors will come out, and those vendors will offer services. And my mentality is that you shouldn't be fearful of them. If you have your own vendor that is going to cost more, or if your vendor thinks that their vendor is not going to be able to perform the services for the price, then you write the insurance company and say, my vendor says it's going to cost $58,000, and your vendor says $28,000. So I expect that your vendor will sign the identical contract that our vendor is and provide those $58,000 of services. And then you have the vendor of their choice come out, and then if they fail, then you can sue both the contractor and your own insurance company. I always embrace an insurance company that is graciously offering its services, because anything that it offers, it's responsible for. Hopefully they have a wonderful vendor that can solve your problems even faster, and then you could write great reviews about them. But if they don't, they're responsible. That's why a lot of insurance companies won't accept that responsibility. But it is time now. We are months and months into this. We are 9 months into this. It is time for our listeners, for all of you. Do not wait any longer. Get armed. Get an expert. If you're going to hire a lawyer, ask them if they've handled 500 cases before. Ask them if they've ever worked for the insurance company. Ask them what kind of experience they specifically have in these claims, not just because they're local or because they sound big or because they make promises, but what kind of specific experience have they had? What interactions have they had with the insurance company? And if you do that, you're going to get your claim either paid more quickly, or you're going to put a lot of pressure on the insurance company to motivate them to pay. We have to rebuild 850 strong, and we're going to do it if we do it appropriately, sensibly, and with the right experts.
Back to the vendor thing. If a preferred vendor for an insurance company gets involved, what is it? You said that I'm confused because you said that you're kind of as long as the insurance company does what they're supposed to do and the vendor does what they're supposed to do, and I absolutely get that. But if a vendor is coming over to look at your house, being asked by an insurance company, is he kind of on the insurance company's side, and that's something that you have to be mindful for? I just want to make sure we get that out of the way.
Yes, the answer is, I look at this from a unique way. I say if the insurance company is sending somebody over, you can have a rake-in-like mentality. You can trust, but verify. So what you could do is, if they come over and say they can rebuild your home for $86,000.
Is it that they kind of that they respect you because of your position and not necessarily a policyholder because maybe they're just not as knowledgeable, and then you can kind of push them?
I wish it was that. I think that's part of it, maybe. But really, at the end of the day, when you get someone on the horn and you've been doing this, 30 years, and you have 300 claims, and you have someone on the phone you actually enjoy speaking with, they rather give money to people they like than people they don't like. It's that simple. I wish it was more complicated than that.
It really does come down to just the relationship.
I really do feel that way. Scott can tell you, out of all the cases that I resolve, I become friendly with all the adjusters, and not because I want to, just because it happens. We get along, we have something in common, we like talking about food, whatever it is, we find that common ground, we discuss it, and we forget about the case. We still talk about the money at the end. We forget about all the minutia, all the details that sometimes may not be as favorable for us. We forget about that. Let's just talk about money. Pay me the $500,000 tomorrow if you can. And hey, what are you having for dinner tonight? That's really the way I work them.
That's Brian has, and I met you. We hung out. I don't know we went to the book signing and we hung out for a little bit. And I don't know you well, but I did pick up on that you have a knack or ability to talk to someone for a little while and then find out some big things that make them tick. And so you're really good at a conversation. And I got that because I've been doing radio for a long time. So when you pull someone in here to interview them, you start to kind of develop that talent, I guess, over time. And it's one of those things where after you do it so many times, you kind of understand how the right questions to ask to kind of get in there. And basically what you're doing is you're getting rid of a lot of crap and you're getting right to some of the conversational things. You're very good at that.
Well, thank you. It's years of negotiating with my wife. It's gotten me to this level. So,
keeping your ass out of the sling.
One beer, just one.
Julie.
That's all I want. Just one ice cold Coors Light, please.
Anna just
Brian loves Julie.com.
I love her so much, and I always will.
Go ahead. You know what, Brian Parúas is now going to sing a song to Julie in the key of E, and it's a Luther Vandross song. Go ahead. Now, Brian, you have the floor.
I don't know if it's Luther Vandross, but it's something that goes, I can't get enough of your love, baby. I think it's the wrong guy. I'm humming it because I don't know the bars. I can't get enough of your love, baby.
Man.
You know it, girl. You know it. Boom.
All right, we gotta take a break. You got a question for Brian Parúas, Scott Major from Major Parúas and the Storm Help Team. You can hop on the air. Their phone number is 844-800-LAWS. 844-800-LAWS. Oh, there we go. We got it in the background. You hear that?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, a little Barry.
You hear that, baby?
Oh, yeah.
Tonight.
I love to love you, baby.
I love to love you.
Little Barry White.
Oh, night.
It's about to kick in one time. Here we go.
Do it. Do it.
Anna's dancing.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Work it, Anna. Here we go.
To all those happily married or unhappily married folks, you got to work at it, baby. You got to work at it. Every day.
Anna's up on the control board. Wow, Anna. Wow.
Don't break it.
This is amazing. Here, hold on a second. Let me get my wallet.
Mine's always empty, so you take credit card?
All right, we'll be back. Stand by.
This is great stuff.
You think it, he says it. More Kramer Show, next on NewsTalk 101. 7:52, it's the Kramer Radio broadcast program for Thursday, June
844-800-0820. Welcome to it. Scott Major with us. Brian Parúas with us. Major
Hello.
Parúas and the Storm Help Team. Their phone number, 844-800-LAWS. 844-800-LAWS. Gentlemen, what do you have going on today? We've got to hook up some speaking engagements for Scott, because Scott...
He's amazing.
Amazing speaker, motivational, and an incredible legal mind. You've heard him on the air for months now. It's not too late to start this process of, getting condo associations, neighborhoods, and people like that, areas like that involved, correct?
That's correct. And you may have you may even have a public adjuster or a lawyer right now, and you want it reviewed. And again, the most important thing is to get good education. And I think if you learn from us, even if you continue using your own lawyer, your own public adjuster, whoever it is, at least you'll get smarter about that. We really value and appreciate the need for people to get empowered and for us to make a difference in the community. Both Brian and I are very, very committed to trying to make a difference, to being a positive influence, to being more than just offering legal services, to being people who really, truly care and provide value to the community. And you and I talked about this, Kramer, that we feel like we're making an impact in the community in a positive way.
Right on. And you should have seen him in Destin. We were in Destin last week. He killed it. He gave this incredible talk to, I must have been about 100 or so association managers. And it was really more preparing for this upcoming hurricane season, what to do, how to prepare, the policies that you should be, make sure that they're ready to go, the reserves. Have you replenished your reserves to make sure you have monies to get the work done? It was an amazing thing. There was a lady in front of me I was watching. She took about 10 pages of notes during his talk. It was impressive. It was great. They learned a lot. And it was just really giving back to the community. Protect where you guys are going forward. Have a plan in place so when that emergency strikes, you're ready to go.
You did touch on that on some of the show last week, Scott, and I think that's something that we probably need to start talking more about and getting people, just basic things that, again, we don't want to live through another hurricane not being prepared. We can't sustain. That's the better way to say it. We cannot afford to do that.
There's just no doubt about that, and I think people need to start thinking about this upcoming season now, recognize that every single listener who has not been paid their claim, please make sure you have written a letter to the insurance company that says, we have started the next hurricane season. You have not fully paid me. If you fail to pay me and we have another storm, you're not going to be heard to complain that it's not your responsibility, that it's the responsibility of the prior storm or the prior insurance company. Very, very important.
Maybe we'll the next time we'll kind of go over we'll systematically. You and I probably should talk before that show, but kind of systematically give out some really good, common sense tips. I would love to hear what you said when you were in Destin, which is hugely
awesome. It really was.
Maybe that's something that we do here, I don't know if you guys have, I'm just thinking out loud, which I shouldn't be doing, but maybe that's something that we try to do here, where people can come and listen.
I love speaking. You know that stuff. I love enriching the education of others. Love it.
Yeah, why not? Why don't we try to hook that up?
Let's hook it up. We'll do a remote. We'll do a remote, what do they call that in radio talk?
What do you mean, like a remote broadcast?
There you go. We'll go right to the village.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, but Anna said boom.
Boom.
Boom. Julie, boom.
Boom, Julie.
All right. We're coming up on time. 844-800-LAWS. 844-800-LAWS. I love these guys. Stormhelpteam.org. Scott Major, Brian Parúas. Thank you again. Both of you, appreciate it so much. Thank you for being on.
Appreciate you, man. And I don't know how you concentrate with Anna in the room there. I don't know how you do it. It must be so difficult.
And half the time, you should see,
So hot.
what she's wearing today. I mean, it's incredible. You guys.
I'm wearing a sweatshirt.
Well, you look great in the sweatshirt.
You rock it.
Well, thanks.
What are you guys wearing, Scott?
Oh, my.
I'm wearing this. He made us some shirts that I think it might be a little too tight. It's snuggy on me.
Oh.
Tell me something.
Say that again slower.
A little snuggy.
Yikes.
So hot. Very bizarre hour, but a great hour. Gentlemen, be well. I will talk to you both soon.
Stay safe,
Thanks for
everyone.
all you do, man.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
More of the Kramer Show next. News Talk at 101.
It's super duper.